Okay, so let's, as promised, we're going to dive into WebMin itself now. For accessing WebMin, we do it through the browser. So, for instance, we can launch Firefox or any browser that you have. In my case, it's going to be Firefox. And to access WebMin is going to be a secure connection. So we do HTTPS. We are lucky, this is UBUNTU desktop version, so because it's a desktop version I can do this localhost port 10,000, and don't worry about this initial message. It's basically that Firefox hasn't got any certificate from the WebMain secure connection. So what we have to do is here go to advanced, add the exception, accept or get the certificate, and confirm security exception. Once we've done that, we are able to log into WebMain. So Victor is the user that has supervisor capabilities. So, and we enter the password for Victor. So log in. And we're inside. Very nice presentation. Gives us a overview of the system. My system is actually very old machine. It doesn't have any power, but it serves its purpose, so it's fine. Okay, let's go into the configuration of WebMin. So the first thing that we have to do is go to networking, go to network configuration, network interfaces, and these are the two network interfaces that we defined in the etc network interfaces file, and now we have to make them visible. Well, they are visible right now, but they are not applied to WebMain, so that's what we want to do. Select both and do apply selected interfaces, so WebMain will start getting access to them. Very good. Next thing that we want to do is go back here, network configuration. We're going to want to go here and host name and DNS. Host name is Mars KUbuntu. This DNS, we want to move it, so we do Control X. We want to put it to the last line. We want our LAN facing network interface to be a DNS server in itself, so we want to put here 10.1.10.1. Then we can even put this this address. Well, actually, well, I can just use my internet gateway that I know that is a DNS server in itself, so I can do 2.1. And in here we want, instead of using this DNS, I want to use the LAN DNS. So that's the way it should look. So do a save here. Good. One little thing that I want to show you. We are not going to make a modification, but I want to show you something that is very useful. If you click here, routing and gateways, and you go here to active configuration, this is very important. I want you to make sure that the default route is our internet facing gateway. So if you have this set up correctly, then you're 100% sure that all this exercise is going to work properly. If you don't see this in here, then you will have problems. Okay, we are finished with network configuration, so we have to go now to DHCP server. And what we want to do is add a subnet. Description, you can put anything here, but what I want to do is put the machine name, router, network address. We know that is for this subnet is going to be 10.1.10.0, network mask 255.255.255.0, address ranges. So we know that our network interface is 10.1.10.1. So the dynamic addresses that we want to give are going to start at 10.1.100. That's usually the number that we start with dynamic addresses. And we don't want to give a whole lot of dynamic addresses, so for me 10 of them is good enough. So what I can do is 10.1.10.109, and that's good enough. These are the only modifications that we want to do here. So we create the subnet, and we are ready to sorry, one last thing that I want to do here is if we go inside once again to this subnet that we just defined, we want to edit the client options. There are a bunch of defaults in here. We want to make it more specific, so what we want to do is say subnet mask default route broadcast address broadcast is 10.1.10.255, and the DNS server once again is 10.1.10 and 1. Save, and return to subnet. Good. Now we are ready to go here and say edit network interface. So basically for this subnet, the listening network interface is going to be ETH0. We save this and we start the server. Very good. That should do it. Oh, actually, one last thing, and this is the most critical part, because when we set the firewall, basically the firewall, we're just going to use it for setting the NAT, is the network address translator to probably it's good if I show you in a graph here. This is pretty much what we have done so far. We have set up the subnet, and what we need to do now is set ETH1 as the network address translator. So that means that anything that comes from this subnet is going to have only one address. Instead of the addresses from within the subnet, is going to have the address of this gateway. And the only way to do that in Webmain is to set up the firewall. So go back here, when we go to Linux firewall, one thing that I said is that it's very critical is because if setting the firewall or the IP tables is not as very user-friendly. If you make one mistake, it's very difficult to go back. You will be in a mire of problems, and I speak for experience. So let's just say that we're just going to do this and leave it alone after that. So if you go back here, Linux firewall, click here, do network address translator to external interface, and the external interface is going to be ETH1. We enable the firewall at boot time, and we set the firewall. Once again, before I click that, I just want to make sure that you're very careful. First time, go to Linux firewall, go to do network address translator, select the network interface, enable at boot time, and set the firewall. If you make any mistake and you try to go back here, it won't work. Very good. We apply the current configuration. And we should be ready. Now we are going to connect. Let's go back here to the graphics. We have completed all this part. Next step would be to connect a wireless router physically to ETH0. ETH0 is going to give a dynamic address to the wireless router, and we will connect a laptop physically to the port 1 of the wireless router to configure it. So I'll see you in the next videos.